Hello and welcome to Lesson 5. This time we're going to be solving two-step equations using a flow method. I will show you in later lessons different methods, but as I'm only introducing solving two-step equations, I thought the easiest way to start off is by using the flow method. So before we start, let's have a recap on last lesson. You were asked to solve questions similar to these. Pause the video now and give these a try. I'll restart the video and put in the answers. So pause it now. Right, here we go. As we have a look at the first one, this means 3 times something equals 12. So x has to be, 3 times 4 is 12. If we have a look at the next one, as we can see, x means something, so something plus 4 is 12, so that's something, that x must be 8. Now we're getting on to the slightly more difficult ones, and we've got 10 take away something is 14. Well, obviously, if you take something away, it normally gets smaller. So the only thing you can be taken away in this time to make it get bigger is a minus 4, because remember, a minus and a minus make a plus. And the last one, 20 divided by something is 5. Remember this line here means divide. So 20 divided by something is 5. How many 5s go into 20? Well, 20 divided by 4 is 5. Now, I've got one more question for you to try. Just pause it, have a go, and see if you get the right answer. Okay, well done. Now, if you manage to put down the answer x equals 2, I'm afraid you got the question wrong, because 2 divided by 5 is not 10. In fact, x in this case would have to be 50, because 50 divided by 5 is 10. Okay, now we're going to move on to the examples of using the flowchart method, or the flow method, to solve two-step equations. And here's the first example. 3x plus 4 equals 17. This is slightly harder. Some of you will be shouting out at the screen now saying, oh, this is easy, this is, and saying the answer. However, I want us to start off thinking about it this way. If I start with the letter x, the first thing that I'm going to do to that letter x is this bit here, which is the same as times by 3. Then, once we've times by 3, we add on the 2, and that gives us our answer, which is 17. However, we need to work out a value for x that makes that. So working backwards should give us our answer. So start with 17. Now, because we're working backwards, you have to do everything the opposite way. So instead of adding 2, this time we're going to take away 2. So 17 take away 2 is 15. There just to remind us. And now we're going to do the opposite of times, which is divide by 3. 15 divided by 3 means that x is 5. Hopefully you'll be able to pause that, make notes where you need to. One important note to write down is that you have to do the opposite using the flowchart. But let's have a look at this next example. Slightly more difficult one, but follow the same steps and let's see where we get to. So, if we start with the x, the first thing that we're going to do is times by 7. Then once we've done that, we're going to take away 3, and our answer is 18. Now working backwards, if we start with 18, first thing we're going to do is add 3, because the opposite of take away is add. 18 plus 3 is 21, just write that small up there. And then we're going to do 21, the opposite of times is divide, so we're going to do 21 divided by 7, which is 3. So, Rx equals 3. Fantastic. You can always check this, because 3 times 7 is 21. 21 take away 3 is 18. You can always check by putting the answer back into the original. Well, let's have a look at example 3. Slightly more difficult, this one. But is it? Let's start with our x. First thing we're going to do is times by 4. And then we're going to add on 3, and that should give us the answer 24. So working backwards, if we start with the 24, and then do the opposite of adding 3, which is taking off 3, that gives us 21. And now we're going to do 21 divided by 4. Now, most people will be wanting to reach for a calculator here. But if you remember, going back to this slide here, this actually means divide. So, what I can actually do, when I get to here, is just write 21 divided by 4. And that's our answer. There's nothing to say that you have to simplify. You can just leave it as a fraction. So, there's our 3 examples now. Here's some questions for you to do. Give them a go. You can see the green are the easier ones, orange slightly more difficult, and the red is the hardest. Have a go at it. Pause the video now